All right, cool. Thank you everyone for joining early. We'll be getting started right away. Today we have special guests coming from the MSafe team, so really exciting to have them on. And yeah, we'll be getting started right away. Enjoy the music as we put ourselves together. So thank you all.
However, the satellite photo was pretty interesting for the western half of the U.S. Rain showers and thunder showers along that frontal system, and that wide band of fairly heavy snow. Now, what will happen each time that you see the frontal system on there? That begins at 6 o'clock in the morning, and then you'll see the cloud pattern move until 2 o'clock this afternoon. So, as of that time, of course, the front was way up in the northwest. Now, however,
Hello. Testing audio. Jackie.
Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you, but it's a little bit in burst. Maybe check microphone real quick.
Okay.
Oh no,
So
that's
can you hear
perfect.
me?
Yeah, perfect. I can hear you perfectly now.
Yeah. Thank you. I'm very honored to be here, and today I'm here with my co-founder Wendy.
Nice. It's awesome to have you all on board and learn more about multi-sig. To be honest, it's not something that I'm very familiar with, so I'm going to lean on y'all heavily to inform me and our community about what multi-sig is, the importance of it, and yeah, why we should use MSafe and why we should use multi-sig in general. So thank you for having us on, for coming on. And yeah, maybe we can get started. Tell us a little bit about yourselves, how you got into crypto, how you got into multi-sig, how you got into this earth.
Of course. Yeah, let me first introduce myself. My name is Jackie. So I have been into the Web3 space since very early, since 2018. When I started to work, I just started working as a protocol developer, layer one protocol developer, and at the time that was 2018 when the ICO is coming and every coin they are hitting the next eve of the crypto. And at the time, I just joined the crypto space. I had the lucky to do this. And after 4 years of development, and I'm more deeper believe that this crypto space, the Web3, is definitely some it's definitely going to be some space to be exploited, and we are more determined than ever that to make ourselves to build something in the Web3 to bring the next billion user into this industry. Yeah, basically this is my story. Wendy? Wendy, are you able to talk?
Yeah, maybe check your audio settings.
Yeah, maybe I can also talk a little more about ourselves. So we are currently building the multi-sig. Wendy, are you talking?
Yeah, I can hear her audio now. Wendy, can you hear us? Okay, let's continue, Jackie, I think. Oh, Wendy, you're on mute, so that might be a good signal. Can you hear us now?
Yeah, maybe I can talk a little more about what we are currently building. So what we are building is building a very secure infra. We are building the multi-sig, which means so initially the single sign wallet is definitely not enough for like the big treasury management. So if you are using a single sign wallet to manage the big funds, you definitely are in trouble, because if the private key is compromised, you will lose all control of your funds. So basically, a multi-sig solution is something that will let you to add another security layer to the fund management, as well as the protocols, all the Move resources. Basically, you will need to you can manage all the funds with multi-confirmation from multiple parties. And this is how the multi-sig comes from. It because it's add another security layer by human interaction. So for each transaction that is sent from the multi-sig, it will require multiple confirmations from the owners. Let's say if you have a multi-wallet, if you have a wallet set up to be, say it's an owner set by 3 owners, and then you can set the confirmation to 2, which means you will need to receive 2 confirmations to receive one to submit one transaction. So this will make the scenario of default management a little bit more secure. Yeah. So this is what we are building in a very general sense. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. I mean, in my opinion, maybe everything should be multi-sig. Just having single sig sounds very dangerous, especially when you could easily lose your keys in a fire or in a robbery, or just losing the keys accidentally. But I think we have Wendy on now. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you. Hi,
Awesome.
Aliho.
Welcome, Wendy. So yeah, do you want to give a brief intro to the community here, and we can continue hopping back into the solution?
Sure. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining. This is Wendy. I'm the co-founder of Move IntelliJ. I think Jackie has done an amazing job just talking about what we're doing here. And yeah, thanks, Aliho, for having us. Very excited to join this morning.
Definitely.
I guess morning for some people, but night for some other.
Yeah, it's all over the world for sure.
Yep.
Great. So coming back to this idea of multi-sig being a key part or key infrastructure of really everyone's tech stack, right? From the personal to the organizations to the DAOs. I want to dig into this a little bit more. Like, what does a world look like without multi-sig? And what if multi-sig didn't exist? Like, what would that world look like?
I can take that one. Or Jackie, do you want to take that one?
I would able to.
Okay, so yeah, it's actually pretty interesting. So with myself, I used to have one single wallet when I was working on something with Ethereum. And if you have some money in your accounts, when it hits a threshold, you feel really unsecure with that amount. This is what I do. So basically, I go ahead, I check my MetaMask every day to see, okay, if the balance is still there, if my key is still secure. And I actually have you have 24 phrases or 12. I actually put them in 3 friends' house.
Mm-hmm.
So this whole process is just not the best. But yeah, I would love to hear everybody's experience. How do you deal with your single key wallet? And how do you feel about that experience? And we can share more about what we can do here with multi-sig. How does that make your life easier? Yeah, Jackie, you wanna talk?
Yeah. So basically, I think another use case is just if you are managing somebody that you have some join with your friends. Right, so if you guys you start to start a small fund and say, hey, we have this amount of money and we want to do the investment together, and the best way to do this is definitely not going to put money in someone's wallet and that one had the full control of it. The best, although there is, you must be very trust your friends, but the best practice is that you set up a multi-sig wallet, so everybody of you will have some confirmation on all the transactions, and the transaction can be sent from the multi-sig. So this is how the collaboration in the Web3 world works. In a more larger scale, it can go to the specific use cases of DAOs, of any projects. So basically, any projects, we think that the best use cases for the multi-sig is mostly business focused, which means if you have some large funds to manage, like a crypto fund, or if you are a DAO that owns a treasury, or if you are a project that you have your own tokens or you have own protocols to manage, and definitely this is the best use cases for the DAO, or this is the best use case for the multi-sig. And for another question, if there is no multi-sig, I would think it will be pretty bad because it's a coordination tool for people managing funds with each other. And if you do not have this, I cannot imagine how people are going to manage their funds. So basically, if there will be one only key for the account that holding the treasury. So which makes it super dangerous for the guy who holds the private key. And if that private key is compromised, that means it loses everything. So I think basically the multi-sig is the key for collaboration, and it is also the key for the business for a certain team or a certain organization manage their treasury accordingly.
Yeah, definitely. I hear so the two things that I'm hearing is a tool for collaboration, almost like a social fabric that allows us to not have to trust one individual. And then what I'm also hearing from Wendy is it's a core security feature. I definitely feel both of you where if multi-sig didn't exist, one, I would definitely be very, very anxious about my own personal holdings. What if I die? What if my friends can't come together after, if as Wendy mentioned, if I split up my key, what if my friends don't know who my other friends are, which should probably be part of the security feature of it too, right? So having multi-sig and then spreading that out across trusted parties, definitely very, very important for own personal safety and this is good for, how this technology is really useful for everyone. So Jackie, you mentioned treasury management. I would imagine most of the people on this call probably don't have large treasuries that they're managing, but it doesn't have to be. I guess crypto makes everything democratized and accessible. So maybe this is also a use case for individuals. Whereas let's say you have a group of friends or family and you do want to manage a small amount of funds together to say like, hey, how do we deploy this into DeFi? How do we start, using this stuff to better understand it? And we don't want to just trust Alice or trust Bob with our keys. What if Alice or Bob dies? At best that's completely not their fault. But at worst, what if they, let's Quadriga founder died, just kind of like disappeared. So I definitely see both aspects of it. Sorry, Wendy, I think you were saying something.
No, I was just saying like when you have like something to manage, especially like for let's say if you are a protocol owner, that you're not only holding the key to your own assets, you're holding the key to the community's assets. Like the
Yeah.
people are staking your money here. Then at that point, you probably should think of all the possibilities, like Alejo just described. Meaning like something you probably wouldn't think daily, but if you think about it, it's like super scary to hold just with one key. So just want to echo on that.
Yeah, definitely. This should be a security best practice. I wonder maybe y'all if you have any good resources on like, hey, what's the best? Even so, multi-sig is the first step, but maybe beyond that, how do you split up the backups? How do you make sure that even the backups to the multi-sig are well backed up? And what do you do if one of the multi-sigs loses their key? So what if there is a fire or some form of force majeure that causes someone to lose? Like what are best practices there? Maybe y'all can share some resources also in our chat for community later on.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is something I think we should all like brainstorm on, like how to secure our assets. I think my key here is to just create some redundancy, but we can talk more about that later.
Nice. Okay, so let's shift from the negative, worst case scenario, World War III explodes and we all lose our keys, to maybe some positive aspects of this. So, in terms of treasury management, are there good ways that multi-sig can be used to maybe allow people to give inputs into this, or manage the treasury in more creative ways than if it was just one individual. So, for example, is governance something that can be also managed with multi-sig for how treasuries are deployed or used? Maybe you can go into some of those use cases for treasury management specifically.
Yeah, so for example, mostly, let's say we have, like, if you have some assets that's not owned by yourself, it's owned by a protocol. Let's say there is a DEX, let's say there is a lending protocol, as like we use that probably like daily DEX or lending protocol, and then this is like deployed from their team, a team of like a group of people, they develop this protocol and they deploy it. And say like they are charging us some transaction fees for their revenue. And as you can imagine, this should be owned by a team instead of, let's say, the CEO or CFO or just like one person on that team. So in that case, they probably want to create a momentum safe account with multiple team members on this account. Let's say 5 people on this account, and it allows like 3 people to withdraw the money or to just like withdraw the money or distribute that to the contributors of the protocols, etc. So that's one good example of team-owned assets. And I think community would trust the protocol even more when they're using a multi-sig account instead of, let's say, their CFO holds the account and they decided, okay, it's time to rock. It's like few millions of dollars, we're good, and then they just withdraw and just disappear. So that's one example. The other thing I think that's a good example is like for the DAO use case. So as like the spirit of DAO is to have a group of people own the assets for the community. So if it's like, if we need to decide, okay, whether this contributor has done their job, like if this group of contributor has done great things to the DAO community, we probably want to grant them with some tokens to encourage that and just to like reward that effort. So who's gonna decide that? Is that if that's gonna be like one person deciding that, there's probably something fishy going on there. So I think the best practice here is definitely to have, let's say, a group of people from the community holding a momentum safe account, and let's say we have 10 people there, and if the majority, let's say 8 people, decide on, okay, we love this group of contributors, they have done good to our community, we're definitely gonna send them a grant, etc. So I just want to share these 2 use cases here for the treasury management.
I would like to add a little bit to the DAO use cases, because I think that the best practice for DAO use cases is likely that so there is a voting mechanism in DAO. So there can be some proposals, and the community will decide whether that will pass, and then the executor of this proposal, like it is going to disperse give some treasury to some entities, or it is to add some protocol level parameter changes. So all these need to be carried out by a multisig, and this multisig can be held by both the community leads and the team members. And for this specific use case, I say we can have 3 keys. Let's say there are totally 10 keys for the multisig, and there will be 3 from team members, and there will be more, like 7 keys that will be distributed to the community leaders.
Yeah.
Okay, and the threshold of this multisig can be something greater than the team member holds. Let's say it's going to be 5 or even 7. So basically, this is talking about decentralization of power. So basically, the team itself, if they have decided to rock, they cannot collect enough signatures from to reach the threshold of this multisig. It's the community that is taking the lead and the decisions in how to execute. This is basically, I think, is a much more practical use case for the multisig, which is a deeper connection with the DAO.
So if I'm understanding correctly, as a safety mechanism against collusion or maybe malicious actors going against the what the intentions of the DAO is, you never want to have the team have full control over making decisions. You want to distribute that to community leaders, to other folks that are independent from the team, just to have almost like a backup, right? Make sure that there is no central point of failure there.
Exactly.
Yeah,
It's not about, you are not trusting the project team, right? It's about decentralization, decentralizing the risk. And also this is not only limited to the treasury management, but also it also works for the key parameter controls or the protocol upgrades. Because there are always some parameter changes that can be carried out by the DAO proposal. And also there can be some upgrade plans for the protocol or the code itself. And all of these cases will require a multi-sig to be there to execute the operation that is approved by the DAO or approved by the community. And we definitely believe the community is the root power of Web3 that can bring us to the next level.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And even as I think of our own architecture, that's a very difficult decision point for a lot of developers. So, from our perspective, we want to minimize the attack vectors for censorship, for losing our private keys and people, losing funds. So for us, this was a very very difficult decision, but I think it's the right decision, and maybe others can follow as well. Is to ship our code immutably, so no upgradability. A lot of the blue chip protocols on Ethereum, Uniswap, for example, Aave, do these immutable ships, and I believe it's a function of security. So even if there is a multi-sig and it's spread between the community, just the fact that there is some upgradability or backdoor access to upgrade the code, insert a function to withdraw assets and just rug seems like a big risk. Although I do see that distributing that risk potentially to a DAO or a community, how that can be mitigated. But for us, just given how much of a risk factor it is, and the actual risk of it at the very onset or beginning of a project, we chose to go immutable to avoid that. But I can see how over the future, if you can distribute that risk to a large group of people that can collude, then potentially that's an approach as well. But it's somewhat relatively untested, right? Like in your example, maybe those community leaders do collude themselves, maybe without the team, and they can somehow steal the funds. So that could also be an attack vector. So I would, in my opinion, at first you need to have like safety measures in place. Potentially veto power from the DAO, from protocol developers, as to not allow certain things to get instituted that might just blow up the whole system. And you also want to put in as very little parameters as possible that are actually changeable, so that the thing itself can be trusted by people, that it's not going to change, that there's no risk of it being rugged or upgraded to get rugged. I guess that's my own personal and hopefully also just like principled approach to building some of this stuff. An interesting one that I just thought of. Oh, sorry, Wendy. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh yeah, I was just about to say, like, I love that way of thinking. Like, I feel like security is always something like people feel like, okay, it's fine, like I will get to it later. But with like protocols we just talked about, like if we don't think about it beforehand, like what you guys did with either you swap, like you decide to make it immutable. I think something like this is not something like we can like say, okay, we're not gonna think about it now, we're gonna think about it down the line in the future. And I think this is kind of feel like general sense, like normally it's when the hacks happens, then when everybody gets like panicked and then think about like what's the best practice. So I really want to like emphasize this here. So like with deploy smart contract, or with like when we're deciding on the architecture and how do you manage your treasury, this is something like if you're a developer of a protocol, I think we should definitely think it from day one when you are deploying. And if you are a community member like us, we're using the protocol, I would suggest like definitely also suggest this to the community you're in, and just to make sure your assets like secure there. Sorry, Alejo, I think I interrupted you.
No, amen to everything that you're saying. This stuff should be at the very beginnings. Should be well thought out before the protocols are deployed, and definitely the community members. It's your responsibility to keep the protocol developers accountable and for being transparent in how they're managing treasuries, how they're deploying their code, whether it's upgradable, immutable. If it's upgradable, then who owns the private keys? Is that verifiable? Is it just the same protocol developers that they distributed, as Jackie said, to key members in the community? So all of this is very important. And to your point, Wendy, it's only thought about in hindsight after there's a bunch of hacks. There's definitely been a few where the keys to protocols for upgradability were exploited, or those functions that allow people to upgrade were exploited. So it's something definitely to keep in mind. And maybe the benefit is that there's been so many hacks lately that it's on everyone's top of mind. So hopefully maybe people are doing it correctly this time.
Yeah, and I just thought of another case. Like so basically, like like if you're in the States, the regulations today are getting more and more complex. And talking from regulation side, okay, I guess I haven't introduced myself. Like I used to look at Libra, and Libra is the Facebook. Well, we have a lot of names: Libra, Calibra, Novi. If you guys are familiar with any of this. So back when I was working there, like one of the top things like we deal with every day is regulation. Like you need to all meet all the compliance requirements, etc. And if people haven't heard, we wasn't able to launch, as in Novi and Libra wasn't able to launch just because Fed doesn't want us to. So as a protocol, you probably don't want that happen to you. Like let's say if you build a DEX that's super successful, everybody like interact there, or if you build a lending protocol, like if I deposit some money, like thousands of dollars into that lending protocol, and then one day Feds come in and decide to okay, we want to shut that down. How can they do that? Like if the protocol is owned by one person, yeah, they can just go ahead and arrest that person, just like shut the protocol down. But if you use momentum safe to deploy with a multi-sig account, let's say 10 people across the world deploy that, even if Fed wants to shut that down, they wouldn't be able to arrest everyone and just like shut that down. So just to Alejo's point, as a community member, like we are like definitely responsible for our assets, and we need to like push the protocols to deploy from the multi-sig account, just to making sure like everybody's assets is secure, and to making sure the protocol is decentralized, so that this kind of thing wouldn't just happen to any protocols. Just want to add to that.
Definitely. And I would agree with you that potentially a lot of projects even today are, I guess, what is colloquially known as dinos, or decentralized in name only. And that definitely has a lot of risk. And I'll pull on the string a little bit that you're pulling, that you're creating here. And just because I'm American, I love Uncle Sam, and the government is great, and everybody that has been president in the past is awesome, and we love you. But imagine if we were living under an authoritarian regime, right? And that authoritarian regime came to you, and not to say that there's any particular authoritarian regime that's better or worse than other authoritarian regimes, but you really want this core functionality of crypto or blockchain censorship resistance, which is a beautiful part of it, and the reason why Bitcoin and Ethereum are so robust, that you don't want a central state actor, or even like another private actor, right? Let's say for whatever reason there's a mafia or some form of gang that comes to you, right? To be able to say, yeah, shut this thing down, or give me all the funds that are in it. That's part of it, because these things are global. We should be democratizing finance for the entire world, and you really don't want that central point of failure. That's to say, I love America. Any regulation hopefully is put in place and enables us to continue innovating and making these products accessible and safe for people to use. But I definitely, the U.S. government is a factor for censorship. Hopefully they're smart enough to see that these things are really, if built correctly, somewhat unstoppable, and they should be controlled accordingly. But also if you don't build them to be unstoppable, like Uniswap, for example, I believe is in this situation, whereas they have immutable code. If, for example, the SEC or the CFTC wanted to shut it down, they quite literally couldn't. They can only control the front end. But potentially the Treasury, for example, I need to like research this a little bit more, but it's my understanding that they have this fee split, and the way that it would work is that first they would turn on a fee for Uniswap, and then it would go to the Treasury, and then the Treasury is DAO managed or managed by the token holders. Therefore, like once the funds are in the Treasury, the token holders can choose. And again, I have to see how the architecture of it is set up, whether it's how Jackie mentioned, it's maybe like some core members plus community leaders, or maybe it's a complete DAO Treasury. I think there's security concerns around that, but maybe it is a DAO Treasury. Then therefore, I mean, it's kind of cool. This stuff. At the end of the day, it is real people behind these tokens and people voting on the internet to move coins around. But if it's built correctly, we really are building these decentralized organizations that run autonomously without the input from a single party. And that itself, that architecture should be robust enough to avoid censorship from authoritarian regimes, whether it's, I don't want to name any names, but anyway.
Yeah, I love this time of discussion. Sorry, did I hear something? Oh, no worries. I also want to say it's probably not just the states, the other countries we would probably have the same concern, like if the other governments just to decide to do something that's out of our control. So we should definitely leave the control of the protocol to the community instead of just to either the founders or just some centralized organization.
Yeah, exactly. I think this is also maybe a little bit too esoteric and philosophical, but I think it's a matter of national security. So let's think of Bitcoin, like the most decentralized one. Like let's say Bitcoin does become a neutral way to settle, value or money, whatever money is. Do we really want the U.S. or Russia or China or whoever, large state actor to be able to say like, okay, we're shutting this down, Bitcoin's done, we're not going to let you do this anymore? Like that's a matter of national security. Like imagine if the U.S. infrastructure, like if we were holding Bitcoin in our reserves, if a lot of companies which are now starting to, like Tesla and others, are hoarding it in their reserves, what would happen if in this example China did, right? What if China was like, hey, you can't mine Bitcoin anymore, it's illegal? Like if they were to shut down Bitcoin in itself, that would be a matter of national security. So it's important for these things to be decentralized, to not be able to be controlled by any one actor, whether it's a team of 3 people or a country of billions. So it's doable. Bitcoin does it, although Bitcoin's governance is more so fork. But I guess similar with Ethereum, but some of these other ones, including Aptos, are going to have on-chain governance. So it'll be interesting how that plays out as well.
Yeah, that's super interesting.
Also, I want to mention like this topic does not happen every day, right? Also, like the regulations, right? Like the territory is ask you to hold on funds. I think most of the use case for the multi-sig will come to daily usage because we are fighting against the scams, fighting against fisher websites, and definitely this is the point why the multi-sig comes in to give your assets and additional security layer, right? If you have some really expensive funds in one fund, you can even create a multi-sig for your own asset management, right? So you can have 2 wallets. So if you have one hot wallet and one cold wallet set up for your multi-sig wallet. So basically, if you just everybody is talking about scams, and if you just accidentally enter on the website and authorize and suspicious signature, your funds are gone. Right, this news is happening every day. But if you have put your assets into a 2/2 website, 2/2 multi-sig, that this definitely the attacker definitely cannot get the two signatures at a time, so your assets are totally safe. Okay, so this is for the basic 2C use cases, and also for the projects, it needs more coordination between team members, like or the community members, and the multi-sig is creating the perfect collaboration tool between different users to manage funds. And I think this is more a daily use case instead of like these extreme cases that saying we are facing regulations, etc.
Yeah, definitely. It's like the zoom in and the zoom out. We this technology multi-sig is applicable to the broad scope of it. Definitely agree for most people, especially here in the audience and the community, that I feel like multi-sig maybe seems a little bit extra. People are like, oh, that's fine. I only have a few funds. Why should I care about this? Well, hopefully you're just practicing, ensuring best practices, to your point, Jackie, and making sure that people are not losing funds, or that people are not getting scammed. And if we institute these best practices at every level, and we make it easy to use, like with MSafe, then I think this technology can really be mass adopted. It's just a matter of changing our perspective and our culture on how we manage funds or keys or what's valuable. Maybe to that extent, Jackie, Wendy, I was looking through your interface and some of the products that you're putting out. It's really user friendly. Maybe you can talk to how easy it is, or how simple it is to actually create and use a multi-sig. I'm a big fan of the command line interface. That's how I like to use it. But I know you're also working on a front end UI, so maybe you can give us a little bit of insight into that. And if you don't mind, maybe I can even share. We're live on YouTube, so I can even share on my screen what it looks like if you want to send me the link.
Yeah, I can send you the link. Maybe Jackie can talk about how to create an account.
Yeah, sure. Basically, creating an account is very intuitive. So basically, you will need to have, let's say we are going to create let's say we are going to create a 2/3 account. And this is available through the UI interfaces or the CLI interface. Basically, we just open a web. So let's say if we three open a web interface and to interact with our to interact with the movement safe, and we just click on the create wallet, and it will require you to fill in all the data that required for the multi-sig creation. And in this case, we just give every of us give our address on Aptos, and then fill it in and fill in the threshold of this multi-sig. And after this, we are able to create a multi-sig with one click, and then we need to collect enough signatures to authorize this creation. And and after the I think our presenting the web UI interface.
Yeah, let me pull this up. I actually don't have Martian Wallet installed, so it's not. I would need to do that as well. So,
Pontem will come in one day.
I know, awkward.
We have
It's
already
okay.
did the integration. There are plenty of tests, and Pontem Wallet is definitely some we are going to support it one day.
Okay, no worries. As I'll share, but I need to create also a Martian wallet in this instance, so it's okay. But okay, maybe this is a good transition to how we can work together, how Pontem and MSafe have worked together. So I can speak to our experience. Really happy with Jackie, Wendy, your whole team, really giving us a lot of support and how we integrate your products. It is a core integral part of our protocol. So Liquidswap protocol, which is a DEX, bonding curve allows you to swap assets. How we deploy is using multi-sig. How we change the fee parameters. So as I mentioned, our protocol is not upgradable. It's going to be immutable, but there are certain parts of it that are changeable. So the fee parameters, for example, of how much each pool should be charged, is something that is also using multi-sig. In the future, we're going to transfer that to a DAO account. But right now it's a multi-sig. So it's a core integral part of how we manage and have deployed or will deploy our protocol. And then on the wallet front, I'm really excited to make this technology accessible to more people, potentially directly embedded into the wallet itself, so that people can just not only manage but also create and access this tech. So from my perspective, that's kind of how I see it, but want to hear your side as well.
Yeah, basically, we are very grateful for Pontem adopting our solution. Basically, there are two, as mentioned, one is the contract deployment, one is the Ethereum controls, which means, and I also would like to really appreciate Pontem's efforts to make the smart contract immutable, because I think this is the most secure solutions ever, which means if you have the immutable solutions, you are minimizing the attacking interfaces from any malicious behaviors. But the only thing we have is that the parameter changes that can be done through the admin, and the admin itself is a multi-sig that is controlled by multiple parties. And I have read into the Pontem's code. It's very solid. It has very deep insights in the Move ecosystem. And definitely Pontem is one of the most talented teams on Move ecosystem and have the most deep insights. And I have talked with Boris multiple times, and every time the tech lead and Pontem, and every time we talk and to discover, every time we talk, we can always discover something new. Yeah. So and in this case, let's talk about the multi-sig. We are offering the multi-sig for Pontem Network's emergency control, like the emergency stop,
Yep.
or the parameter changes. And this is done by multiple parties of that the team of Pontem is holding the multi-sig parameters. I definitely think Pontem is going to have some further DAO management over the protocol, and I think Pontem is doing the right thing to minimize the attached services and decentralize everything.
Thank you. Yeah. Oh yeah. Go ahead, Winnie. Sorry.
Oh, I think there is some noise on from my side. I think also Jackie has covered that pretty well, and we really enjoyed working with the Pontem team. Like we have a Telegram group, which is like, and Pontem is like one of our first consumers of the Momentum Safe account, especially on the like deploy smart contract part. We basically work together like kind of like the extended team, but like yeah, just want to highlight on the collaboration here. We really enjoyed working with the Pontem team.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, and I think one for. Oh, sorry, Jackie. Go ahead.
It is just so many. I just want to emphasize how talented the Pontem dev team is, and every time we talk about resources account, we talk about different deployment options, like using like the resources account, like using a governance smart contract to create a resource account to deploy another smart contract, or using the governance predefined governance smart contract to do the contract upgrade through a governance smart contract.
Mhm.
And also we have talked about different vulnerabilities of all these solutions. Every time I just want to express how I'm amazed by the Pontem's tech lead Boris, and yeah, we had a very very good conversation almost every day.
Thank you. Very humbled. Thank you for all the praise. We really enjoy working with y'all too, and we're building each other up. This is a little bit abstract, but we are the community ourselves too. As protocol developers, as MSafe, as Pontem, we're separate, but we're holding hands and we're building this stuff together. So we're part of the broader Aptos community. The people in this call and the audience is part of our broader communities. So it's important for us all to to be in line and share the same values, principles, and how we architect, build these things, and share the knowledge as well as you were mentioning, Jackie. A lot of these best practices, especially for Move, we're pioneering. So Boris has been building with Move for 3-4 years. I would say one of the world's foremost experts. And it's also our responsibility to build the products and the tools to be safe for other protocol developers to also be in line with these best practices. So yeah, we really appreciate working with y'all, and we look forward to years, decades, if not thousands of years, as our protocols and live on even beyond us. Awesome. So I am on the UI. I think we should probably do a demo next time when maybe we all have separate wallets and we can like put them together here. Let's save that for the next time. I have it up, but it'll, for us to create the MSafe, we'll need to get, or maybe you can send me your address. I guess we can kind of demo it, but I always think risky to demo first things first on live, so we can practice prior and come back and do another demo another time. Definitely happy to have y'all come back and do more of these. I'm sure the community will also appreciate having you on as well and listening to everything that you're working on.
Yeah, we will love to. And we can drop like a Twitter link or something, and next time we can just show the demo and talk more about decentralization.
Yeah, definitely. That's a good segue. I know we only have about 13 minutes left or so in the hour, and honestly, I mean, we can try to make these longer. I just have to go do something else, but I think it's kind of hard to really understand something in depth unless you really give yourself enough runway to talk about all the edge cases, to go into the nuances and details. So that's why I appreciate these long conversations. I know I see in the community a lot of you all folks join week to week, and just come on and also hear me talk, I guess, and others that we bring on for at least an hour. So really appreciate y'all. We have several sections of this live stream podcast, whatever we want to call it. One of it is to allow the community to come up and ask questions. So we do a bunch of asked questions. We also have the tech guy who has come up in the past, coming up to request to speak. So tech guy, we're gonna bring you on for a few minutes if you want to ask a question, and then we're gonna go into a few other community questions that were asked. And then maybe if we have time, we'll go into some fun questions that I'd like to ask as well. So just transitioning here. Decentralization was our last topic. That's why. And we talk about very esoteric stuff. But let's see. Tech guy, you're going to come up. And others, if you want to come up to speak, just request. We'll bring in here. Just make sure you test your audio beforehand. Okay, so it's not coming up, but all right. How about we do Jackie and Wendy, we sent over some of the. Okay, we got tech guy. Awesome. Hey tech guy, mushroom rocket ship. Tell us what's on your mind. How can we help you? What questions can we answer for you? You're on mute, by the way. Okay, as well, tech guy figures out tech for the microphone. We'll move on to some other questions, but you're on.
I think tech guy is back.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, we can. Yep.
Okay. Do y'all have more than 10 minutes? Just asking for time. Okay. Let's go here. Okay. Let's see. This is something that we kind of talked about. Okay. What are some of the competitive advantages of Momentum? Potentially against other multi-sig wallets or multi-sig solutions. Maybe you can talk about that, and maybe some of your roadmap for the next year or 2 years.
So Aliko, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. I think I can hear tech guy before. I think he asked a question. Maybe we can address that as well.
Oh, okay. Yeah. For some reason, I couldn't hear on my end. Interesting. I see. I have him permanently muted on my end. Sorry, tech guy. Sorry. Go ahead. Ask your question. Yep. So the people on Twitter can hear you. Can you please repeat it?
All right. I was asking, does the multi-sig affect the gas fee? Since we have lots of signature, will it affect the gas fee? Because I'm feeling that probably more signature increases the rate of gas fee, just like we have on Ethereum.
Oh, that's a good question.
Like, will the multi-signature affect the gas fee? Or will it have the tendency of increasing the gas fee of a particular transaction? Yes.
Yeah, so that's a good one. Oh, go ahead, Jackie.
Yeah, so I'm handling tech stuff. I can answer for you. So for Momensafe, we are using a combination of the Aptos native multi-sig implementation with the Move modules to implement the asynchronized storage on Aptos. So basically, yeah. So maybe I can give you a short. So basically, there will be no extensive gas fees for more signatures. And but everybody of these of the owners, they need to submit a transaction to submit their signature on chain. So I think for that it might take more gas for more owners that is participating in the transaction. But I think the gas fee on Aptos is going to be much lower than Ethereum. And I think initially it should not be a problem. It may be like cents, I think, for the gas fees. And also Aptos is their network is super fast. Currently they are benchmarking at 1 or 2 seconds per block, so it will have a much more larger bandwidth than than Ethereum. So the gas fee should not be a problem during the launch. But if it's, let's say, if the Aptos is going to be 100x popular than Ethereum, I will hold that answer up a little bit. Yeah, but initially I think the gas will definitely not be a problem.
That makes sense.
Does that answer your question?
If I
Okay.
and if I understand it, you mean to say that there's no added gas from using MSafe, or at least not substantially, but there is still the total sum of people signing definitely adds more, but it's not like it's adding more gas to those specific transactions. That makes sense to me.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. Tech guy, you do have really good questions. Any more questions you want to ask, or for the benefit of the community that we can answer?
All right, for now, okay.
Great.
Ask later.
Well, thank you so much.
The community.
Thank you so much. We love having you on. So thank you for coming on. Okay, let's. I think we were going through one of the questions around your roadmap and some of the competitive advantages of Momentum. So yeah, if you guys want to share on that, I think the community would definitely love to hear that.
Yeah, so there is one thing I really want to share, that's very special on Momentum Safe. Actually, multiple things, but I will start with one. So if you are a holder of a Momentum Safe account, you probably hold some not just a few cents there. It's probably like a big chunk of money that you really wanna keep it secure. But also in the meanwhile, we have this concept of App Store, so that if you go to Momentum Safe's account, you can actually explore all the other protocols on the Aptos ecosystem. Let's say we're gonna have a category of lending protocols, DEX, or AMM, or NFT marketplace. So go there, you can find the protocols you can interact with your multi-sig account, and basically generate some yield for yourself, or just buy some NFTs, hold them in your Momentum Safe account. So this is actually also one of our competitor advantage. This is based on our tech implementation. We are the only multi-sig wallet account that can do this. So if you go create another multi-sig account, you can probably also transact some money, but you wouldn't be able to do staking or use your funds in your multi-sig account to do lending, or basically just interact with all the other protocols. So we provide this feature for our account holders that we think would be really helpful. The other thing about the App Store is that there are all these amazing protocols, amazing things going on in the community, but I guess it's kind of hard for you to have a place to kind of know what's going on in the whole Aptos ecosystem. We provide this way for people to discover all the other protocols and see basically what's fun going on in the community. So we think this is a really good value add for our account holders, and we're really excited to share that. So that's one of the things I want to mention. Yeah, I just blanked out for a second. Got too excited about apps.
Another thing I want to add is probably mostly we talk about the contract deployment, the admin controls, because we can interact with any smart contract entry functions as well. So basically, any protocol can use Momentum Safe as their admin control accounts to interact with smart contract. So this is also another most advantage on our side. We are able to call any smart contract in entry function. So any project can use us for a set of operations like contract deployment, emergency stop, and also the protocol parameter changes, the DAO voting, and execution of the DAO proposals. We are able to do all of that, and this is something that the multi-sig on Aptos other multi-sig solutions cannot offer. And this is this comes from our tech design, and we are very glad to carry that out and put it into the product.
Very nice. And I believe you're also solely focused on Move and Aptos in the moment, right? I think that also is a big competitive advantage, as it seems to be Aptos is very nuanced as an entirely new ecosystem and how it gets implemented in some of these features.
Yeah, absolutely. And I also want to talk about the security part, or like if you were like, for us, we want to put we're putting, let's say, a big chunk of money into our Momentum Safe account, because like we want to, like when we're doing that, one of the top things we're thinking about like is security. If we want to hold the funds there, we like the last thing you want is for community to lose their assets. So that's like definitely top of our concern. And when we're starting building this protocol, as you can imagine, like security is like something we review like daily, monthly, and weekly. Like, and per our implementation at this moment, we are not at this moment. It's actually going to be there forever, because that's, as we discussed, we hope this protocol would last like years, decades, and even thousands of years. So to the point of security, our protocol is as secure as Aptos core protocol. Meaning, if Aptos core protocol is not hacked, your money is safe and secure with us. That's definitely something we want to highlight here. If you're interested, you can go ahead and check out our Medium or Twitter post where we talk more about our technical design, technical details. Or I don't know if Jackie just want to jump in here very quick about that part. But yeah, just want to highlight the security part.
Awesome, thank you. Yeah, if you share the link in the general chat, people can access it too.
Yeah, we already have a very good illustration of our advantage, and yeah, basically our advantage comes in two places. One is security. We have the core protocol security, and another is the internal connectivity that I just mentioned, which is not offered by any other multi-sig solutions on Aptos. And yeah, the last thing I want to mention is that Momentum Safe, our web app, is currently under beta test, and it's a incentivized beta test. And we have $1,000 to give away at the end of this week to give out to the users that have already go through the beta test process and give us some very some valuable feedbacks. And if you guys are interested, please come and check our website, check our Twitter at Momentum Safe, and you are able to see the beta incentivized the beta test is pinned. Please do participate and give us all your feedback and let us know how we did in our application, and we will be really appreciative for your participation. Thank you very much.
Awesome. I shared the link on the general chat. If you have other links you want to share with folks, to Medium, to Twitter, specific articles, the general chat here on Discord is a good place. Most everyone here is monitoring that. Awesome. Do you all? I know we're at the top of the hour. Do you all have another few minutes, or do you need to hop onto other calls?
I'm good. I can talk here.
Okay. So these are the fun questions. So when I first come to mind, I'm thinking 1,000 years from now, what are going to be the implementations of multisig as potentially the human race becomes an interplanetary species. So my question to you is, if we have a Mars base, we have a moon base, we have an Earth base, is it possible for all three to work together with the multisig? Like, can I still coordinate with someone on Mars and on the moon if I'm here on Earth?
I think we need more, even more than that. We need Mars, Moon, and the Earth, and probably some other planets to join the whole community can decide on something. But I haven't think about of like what we're gonna decide on. Like probably like where should I live in the next year? Is it in Mars or is it in Earth? Is this some of the questions we need to decide on? I mean, that's a really interesting question.
I guess would there be any internet connection issues with a multisig that's across different planets, or how could something? Yeah, maybe a more like specific one. If can you still sign transactions even if you are like very far away from each other, even if there is like very buggy internet connection? Like, is that still something possible, or is maybe something like interplanetary travel and internet connection between the planets a hindrance?
I think if we could travel, like if we could send people to different planets, we could definitely get like internet signal from that planet.
That's very true. Yeah, if we figured out how to set up a Mars on base, we can probably get Wi-Fi over there. Yeah. Okay.
And we can definitely sign signatures to a point.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. I normally ask questions about aliens, whether you're, are you a believer? Are you not a believer? It feels a bit forced, but let's do it anyway. So, are aliens real? What do you think? Are they living among us now? And what do they look like?
I think it's not, well, in my opinion, I think aliens is not only real, probably they think we are the aliens. And I always also believe like we probably live in a simulation. So whatever we do, it's just programmed, and there's another me doing different things in another simulation. So if we have something like really stressful, that's what I tell myself. It's like it's not a big deal. It's all a simulation. But I guess this is going a little bit far. I don't know if this is a common thing we talk about here in the Pontem space.
Yeah, it definitely is. I would agree with you in that we are probably the aliens and we are in a simulation. I can go into a little bit of detail on that. Jackie, what about you? Are aliens real? What do they look like?
Sometimes I think that the aliens takes a different life forms than different from us. So it is possible that we can even build them, but they can be in many different life forms. It does not need to be organic, right?
Yeah.
It can be more than just like the wave, electromagnetic wave, etc. And I think that is possibly what we aim talk about. It's just we need another definition of what's so-called life.
Yeah. Oh, very interesting. Yeah, and then maybe connecting to what Wendy said, and kind of like my own opinions is that I do think that humans we reached a threshold for evolution where we kind of like figured it out. And because we figured out evolution, that means that going forward, we're going to evolve very differently from the way that we've evolved to this point. And I do think that our next iteration of humans, whatever that means, is going to be some blend between machine and human. And we're already seeing this, we're attached to our phones. In the metaverse, we're going to we're going to tape phones to our faces. And then, if Elon's dream comes true, we're going to put these phones inside our brains with chips. So I do think this is likely the trend. It's almost inevitable that as we continue to build out machines that improve our memory, improve our recall, improve whatever other metrics we want to improve as humans, that inevitably more and more will become more and more machine than human. And then to your point, Jackie, this means that life should be reevaluated. Is artificial intelligence at some point independent of whatever human intelligence or organic intelligence, and is that life? And then to Wendy's point, if everything is machine, or if everything is technical in a simulation, then what is the difference? Maybe we did at some point in time figure out how to put our brains into machines, and now we're just reliving that moment over and over again inside some machine simulation, which would make us aliens, I guess.
Yep.
That's to say, sorry. That's to say that everything matters, but nothing matters. I think, Wendy, you made a really good point. Whenever you're feeling stressed,
Yeah, exactly.
just realize that we're probably aliens sitting in a vat in outer space. And whether we live or die, or are stressed out by small things in our everyday lives, there's bigger fish to fry, but also we all matter. And yeah, with that, well, we can wrap it up. I know we're about 10 minutes over. We would love to have you back on, Jackie, Wendy. Thank you for coming on. You're welcome anytime. As your product develops, I think we should do a live demo next time. Hopefully Pontem Wallet will be in there, and we'll do a demo on that. Yeah, happy to have you on.
I will make sure that the Pontem Wallet is in order the next time, at least if we are going to do tomorrow, okay? If we are going to do another tomorrow, I will make sure Pontem Wallet is there.
Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, we'll definitely have you back on, and that's a good next item for the next time you're on. We'll do a quick demo. We'll deep dive into the MSafe solution. Maybe we can do a walkthrough so people on the audience can do it themselves. They can set up. Maybe you can make it something fun, where we can have people create a giant multi-sig with as many people in the audience as possible. I don't know if that would break it, but we can try it. But anyway, yeah, thank you for coming on. Oh, sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. I was just going to say, yeah, that's a really good way to stress test. And yeah, just want to say thank you, Alejo, for having us. You have a really great community here, and we look forward to join next time.
Great, thank you so much. And cool. And with that, we'll wrap it up. Thank you everyone for joining. See you again next Friday, or Saturday, or Thursday, wherever it is in your time. Cool. Thank you all. Bye.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.